Gamblers, yes, you're in the right place. Welcome inside the FanDuel Sportsbook. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney, alongside our team of sports betting experts. These guys are here to help you make some money. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Do it right now, and you're ready to take their advice and place your bets right away. It's easy. It's legal. It's fun, and I'm down for all that. So let's get this party started. They're ready. I'm ready. You're ready. We're kicking things off with one of the hottest bets here at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Dave Weaver, Andrew Filipponi, need you guys in here for this one. This huge Week 1 matchup. Everybody loves talking Tom Brady and the new-look Tampa Bay Bucks. They're getting 3.5 points in New Orleans. Pony, how do you play this one?
Well, I'm a big fan of continuity in this weird NFL season, Lisa. And now that Brady left Belichick, you've got Breeze and Sean Payton as the longest tenured quarterback-coach combination in the entire NFL. They always score points in Week 1, 42 years ago, 30 last year. I don't think Brady, with a new set of weapons, will be able to keep up. And I'm going to take the Saints laying the points.
I think he can, only because the Saints defense is atrocious early on in the season. Week number 1, they give up 30, 40 points every single week, 6 years in a row. I like the over here, really, over 49.5. But to take a side, give me the Bucks plus 3.5, because I think the Saints defense is going to be a little bit shaky in Week 1 again.
All right, great stuff, guys. Place a winning $50 bet on the Bucks to collect almost $98. And here's how to find this bet and all the Week 1 lines on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's easy. Click on football, then 2020 season. You'll see every single matchup to kick off the season. It's all right there on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And hey, this is the guy you're taking all that money from. The odds maker himself, Mr. John Sheeran, sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. John, the Bucks are traveling to New Orleans for this Week 1 matchup. Saints not allowing fans at this time for this game, but a few teams around the league have said they are going to allow some fans, including the Chiefs, who are hosting the Texans. It's the official kickoff to the season on Thursday, September 10th. So if the Chiefs are going to have fans, does that, 1, impact the line, and 2, do you consider that a big advantage, even at 22% capacity for fans there at Arrowhead?
Lisa, I think it's questionable whether we'll see any fans in Arrowhead or in any stadium in the NFL. I think it's more likely the NFL issue a league-wide policy of no fans before we start. We do have to remember it's the middle of a global pandemic, and I think having fans is somewhat irresponsible. However, I think the answer is we don't know, right? There's all those unknowns, and then what we do know is home field advantage is not as important as it once was. The idea that it's worth 3 points is long gone. We've seen it in global professional sports as well as in the NFL. 22% or 0% fans in Arrowhead, I don't think it really makes a difference. You want that place to be full and as noisy as it can be to impact the other team, and I don't think that's going to be the case. So we will assess it based on our core ratings and add a stadium-by-stadium add to that, and then we'll see what we come out with. But I think there will be opportunity for bettors to get a lot of value with lines being more volatile than what you would normally expect.
Great insight, Sharon. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in a bit. Giants fans, you're in the spotlight here. New York kicking off the season on Monday Night Football at home against the Steelers. Big Blue has a new coach, a new offensive coordinator, and the G-men are getting 3.5 points. Dave, do they cover at home?
I think they do. What an opportunity for Daniel Jones, their young quarterback, to prove that this is his team to lead into the future. He's got a good running back behind him. He's got some really good receivers, both young and old. Defensively, that is the key. Can they keep the Steelers down with Big Ben coming back? I think they can, because Ben Roethlisberger, Pony, he's not very good in week number 1. 10 straight seasons he has thrown an interception on opening week. I think the Giants are going to pick him, and I think the Giants are going to cover.
I think you picked the wrong week to turn in your Steelers fan card, Dave. Ridiculous, in my opinion, here. 1 interception. Daniel Jones fumbles the ball all the time, 18 last year, and he's got 2 new starters at left tackle and right tackle. Good luck with that against the Steelers defense that down the stretch last year, Lisa, in the second half, the final 8 games, gave up 17 points or fewer 6 times. One of those games was against the Ravens. Believe me, the Giants are not the Baltimore Ravens offense. The Steelers cover, and they cover easily.
Giants fans, don't listen to Pony. Tail Dave here. Put down $50 on New York plus 3.5. They're getting points at home here at the Meadowlands. If they cover, you collect almost $98. And FanDuel is giving you more bang for your buck with some special bets here. This is for Jets and Broncos fans. Increased odds are waiting for you right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app in a section called Odds Boost. That simply means you win more money just for making that bet. Weaver, you've been betting on sports for more than 25 years. Give us these odds boosts and why you think each one could hit.
Well, there are currently 2 odds boosts available on the NFL side of the FanDuel Sportsbook, and both of them involve teams to make the playoffs. Let's start with the New York Jets. To make the playoffs, they were plus 430. Right now, the odds boost up to plus 480. They're in a weak division. I think the Patriots are down this year. The Dolphins still aren't very good, and I'm not sure the Bills are great either. I think the Jets have a chance if Sam Darnold has a breakout year and if Le'Veon Bell bounces back to make the playoffs. You're getting almost 5-to-1 odds on the Jets. But let's talk about the Denver Broncos. Previously plus 180 for them to make the playoffs. Now that's up to plus 210. Here's a team that plays really well at home. They won their last 4 in a row last year at home, and they lost some close games. They lost 3 games by just 2 points. If they can win the close ones with their young offense, this is a team that can make the playoffs this year at plus 210 odds.
All that plus money. Great stuff, Dave. Thanks. Hit up the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Do it right now and take advantage of these special odds boosts just for you. They're available right now. Denver bettors collect $155 on a winning $50 bet. Jets winning bets collect $290. We're talking serious value here. There are bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app for any team to make the postseason. These are simple yes or no bets, easy for anyone to make and super fun to play. So let's get the right take now with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, formerly with the NFL Network, now the new face of Marquee Sports Network, joining us right from the heart of Chicago. Cole, thanks for joining us. Great to have you this season, and let's keep this playoff talk going and talk Bears. Cole, do the Bears make the postseason?
Well, a 7-year-old version of me is sitting there in a Walter Payton jersey and a Pete Rozelle headband, and you want to run through a brick wall. But sorry, Bears fans, I don't think that this is going to be the season that the Bears find themselves trying to compete for a Vince Lombardi trophy. I think they're 1 year away from being 1 year away. And that quarterback battle between Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky, all that really does is mask a bigger issue, and that's a lack of offensive weapons. You look at Jimmy Graham and Ted Ginn Jr., they're nice complementary pieces to an already solid offense, but that's not what this Bears offense is. They're not solid. They're anything but. Last year, they were 29th overall in offense. They were dead last when it came to big play offense. And I know that teams, more times than not, they do have the ability from year to year to go from dead last to very first. But I don't see that this Bears team having the ability to do that. And what's, like I said, that quarterback battle, it's masking things right now, and it's not masking good things. So no postseason for the Bears, because after all, 2020, it's a much different ball of wax.
Tell you what, Cole, you're doing the right thing. You got to wager with your head and not your heart here. Bears fans, Cole stressing patience here. Thinks the Bears aren't quite there yet. Place $50 on Chicago missing the playoffs. You collect more than $78 on your bet. Let's move on and put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy. Ed Egros joining us here from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like. Where do the numbers take us here, Ed?
Let's first start with Philadelphia giving 6.5 points against Washington. A conservative point differential model has Philly at least 3 wins better than Washington this year, and it starts in week 1. Dwayne Haskins only has half a season of pro experience, and in that time frame, his EPA per play was a negative .093. Part of it was simply not getting the ball to Terry McLaurin enough, who in his rookie season had a 22% target share. Second place receiver for Washington isn't even with the team anymore. Washington made a lot of moves to try and shore up wide receiver. It's going to take a couple of games for them to get going. For Carson Wentz, his EPA plus completion percentage over expected was 19th among all qualifiers at .099, but the difference is draft pick Jalen Reagor. He is fast. He could be that deep threat that the Eagles so desperately need. I think the Eagles win handily here.
I'm going to tell you, Ed, they've got the full complement of players at wide receiver, and they didn't last year. From weeks 10 on, Philly was without their number 1, number 2, and number 3 wide receiver. They're healthy. They're playing a bad team. I think they cover.
And Pony, another bet that I like a lot that has good value is the under 40 total between the Jets and the Bills. Yes, it's a low total, but it should be a low total. Josh Allen finished 23rd among qualifying quarterbacks in EPA plus completion percentage over expected at .08. Sam Darnold was better, 18th at .091, but on early downs, the Jets ranked 21st in choosing to throw the football. They weren't leading too many games, so there's no reason to have that much of a positive game script. That means they're giving up opportunities to score. They're giving up points. They're giving up drives. Buffalo, well, they do the same thing. I'm taking the under.
I'm with you. I guess everybody wants to be your friend today, and I'm telling you, last year when these two teams played, the Jets were leading at halftime in both games, 6-0 and 3-0. So the Bills struggling to score early. I think that leads to another under between these two teams.
So Jets fans, are you making friends as well? Are you tailing or fading our guys? If you bet $50 on the Jets, getting 6 and win your bet, you collect almost $92. And remember, all the Week 1 lines are posted on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. They're there right now. Just click on football and then 2020 season. All right, time to turn up the heat on this show. It's time to get a little wild with our More Ways, Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, the segment's pretty self-explanatory, right? Dave, you first. Go nuts with your wildest wager of the week.
Well, I like the Atlanta Falcons, but when you click on that game at the FanDuel Sportsbook, underneath there's a tab that says winning margin 4 ways. So you either have the Seahawks winning by 1 to 13 points or 14 or more. Same for the Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons to win by 14 or more points. The great thing about this, the odds are huge, plus 430. I think they're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns because the Seahawks cannot keep up, I don't think, offensively this year with the loaded Atlanta Falcons who pick up Todd Gurley.
Dave, I'm going to take Sam Darnold at 40-1 to lead the NFL in passing yards. And before you ask me if I sniffed glue before the show, hear me out. The last 2 years, the trends, the quarterbacks who led the league in passing yards were not on playoff teams, Jameis Winston, Ben Roethlisberger, and they were on teams that either flat out refused to run the ball or couldn't do it. Adam Gase doesn't trust Le'Veon Bell. Darnold has a shot to do it at 40-1.
All right, time to tail the wild bet wagers here for the week. Those are pretty wild. And if you want to get nuts with our guys on some long shots, you can check out those bets and more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Let's move on, get back to our game previews here. Week 1, only about 3 weeks away, guys. We've got the Broncos hosting the Titans in the late game on Monday Night Football. Denver's a 1.5-point favorite in one of the tightest lines of the week. Dave, which side do you like?
I don't like a side here. I love a side. I love the Denver Broncos. I think they're going to steamroll the Tennessee Titans. Here's the problem for Tennessee. They've come to Denver and laid eggs 3 straight times, losing by an average of about 18 points a game the last 3 times they've come to Denver, including last year, Pony, where they didn't put up a point. Derrick Henry was held to his lowest total of the entire season. That's just 28 yards. If you can't run the ball on Denver, you can't beat them, and that's what's going to happen. The Broncos win big.
Make sure this one goes in the vault because it's a first. Dave and I actually agree on something. I think Denver is going to also blow out Tennessee. An easy cover. Derrick Henry led the league in rushing attempts last year, and I want to say he did in 2018. Guys, I just wonder what is left in the tank for him. I have a hard time believing he's going to be the same running back he was at the end of last year. They go as he goes. I've got questions, and that's why I'm taking Denver.
Sounds like an easy bet. Dave loves the Broncos. It's going to be a blowout. So Broncos fans, think your team wins by more than 2 points? Then back the Bronx with Bucks. Your $50 winning bet collects more than $95. All right, guys. Cole Wright, you're back up here. Got to get another fun bet to you on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Fun because it is so simple. Yes or no, the Colts will make the playoffs. Let's talk Indy now, Cole. Which way you going?
Well, I love how you come to me for the simple bets. But, Reggie Wayne's not walking through that door. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, they're not walking through that door. So Colts fans, reserve some of that judgment, but your team's not making the postseason this year. What did they have? They had issues making the postseason, so they went and got a quarterback who has issues in the postseason. Just 2 trips for Phillip Rivers over the last 10 seasons, and that's a problem for this Colts squad because they're a team in search of their offensive identity. T.Y. Hilton, Marlon Mack, they're good, but with Phillip Rivers, I just don't think that this squad is going to be a scary offensive unit. And Indy their last 2 trips to the postseason, 2014 and 2018. So they're right on schedule to make the second season in 2022. And you know what? I really just can't trust the quarterback with the throwing motion of Phillip Rivers. So Colts fans out there, fault me if you want to, but you guys will not be playing for a Vince Lombardi trophy this year.
All right, that's the football take. And bettors, you can tail Cole, collect $125 on your winning $50 bet. You can find this one under the Make Playoffs tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And let's bring back the guy here that sets the lines. John, I'm seeing dozens of team bets you can make here at the FanDuel Sportsbook and, of course, on the app as well. Which one on the board is the most popular team bet right now?
Without a shadow of a doubt, Lisa, it's the Steelers. Everybody's looking to bet the over on their regular season wins. We've posted that line at 9, and I literally haven't taken a bet on the under. I'm really worried about this one. I've had a look at them in depth, and there's no reason not to bet the over 9 here. They won 8 games last year with no Ben. Hodges and Mason Rudolph really struggled. They leaned on that defense, which is now a second season, Minkah Fitzpatrick as well. And they have the second easiest schedule based on last year's record. So I don't see any way the Steelers don't get to 9 wins. Anybody who hasn't already should look to bet over 9 for Pittsburgh.
Are you going to move that line, Sheeran?
If anybody lets me, Lisa, I'll move it straight away. I know I let everybody get an opportunity to have a bet on it here, everyone that's watching today, and then I'll look to move it pretty soon afterwards.
All right, let's get to a surprising betting trend that you're seeing. What stands out to you?
Lisa, I'm really surprised by the Browns. We posted their season wins at 8.5. Weaver liked them last year. Maybe he was a year too late, which wouldn't surprise anybody. All of the money, about a 5-to-1 ratio of money on that market is for over 8.5 wins for the Cleveland Browns. I just don't know how anyone can trust the Cleveland Browns after the debacle that was last year. Yes, they've got a coaching change. Yes, we may see Odell apply himself a little bit more, but they had issues across the field, and that's a struggle for me.
Maybe that's where you put your risk-free bet, Sheeran. Thanks. Hey, don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account yet? What are you waiting for? If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $500. Yep, just download the app, sign up for an account. If your first bet does not hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $500 in site credit. So, guys, let's party. Dave, Pony, Ed, got to get my team back in here. You have $500 to place on a risk-free bet. Let's make our viewers some money here. Give me a surprise team that will win their division and lead to a big payout. And Dave, I'm coming to you first.
Well, let's go to the NFC South. I think the Atlanta Falcons, when you look at what they did the second half of last year, are really good this year. They went 6-2 the last 8 games, including wins on the road at San Francisco and against the Saints. This is a team that can really put up some points with Matt Ryan. I have them winning 11 games this year and winning that division. So my $500 would get you back $3,500.
I'm going to use my risk-free $500 bet on the Lions to win the NFC North. Going to net you $3,000 here, Lisa. Everyone is sleeping on Matt Stafford. When he was in the Lions lineup last year, they were 4th in the league in scoring to go with Kenny Golladay, who led the NFL in receiving touchdowns. They draft DeAndre Swift, a running back from the Lions, who I think can have a big impact. The division's watered down. I'm going to take a chance on Detroit.
An offense that ranked 4th fastest in pace of play a year ago now adds DeAndre Hopkins, who finished 2nd in weighted opportunity among all targets in 2019. Not to mention your quarterback and Kyler Murray is going into his 2nd year. He felt a lot less pressure toward the end of his rookie campaign. That's only going to get better for him. I love the Arizona Cardinals at plus 900, so that $500 risk-free bet will snag me a cool $4,500. That's going to buy a lot of coffee, Lisa.
I'm telling you what, I will see you there, and you all need to just sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to get your risk-free $500 bet. It's easy, it's legal, it's live. Take your winnings if you hit, get your money back if you don't. It's truly that easy. All right, of course, before you place any of those bets, you need to know how injuries will impact players. And one big-name player returning from injury is, of course, Ben Roethlisberger. We talked about him earlier in the show. Had season-ending surgery to repair 3 tendons in his elbow. But the 38-year-old says he's now lighter than he's been in almost 15 years. He's feeling good. Pro Football Doc David Chow tells us what we can expect from the Steelers quarterback.
Of course, Big Ben is one of the most talked about injuries coming into the season for the franchise quarterback on his throwing elbow. The team's been very optimistic about the, quote, Tommy John surgery. Sometimes I get scared when teams feel that way, but in this case, I agree. Football players, quarterback throwing motions are different than baseball players. They recover more quickly than the 12 to 18 months a pitcher needs. Jake Delhomme and other quarterbacks have recovered that quickly before, so I'm optimistic that Big Ben will be fine. Add to it that he's shortened up his throwing motion, and that might help protect the elbow, increase his accuracy, and get the ball out of his hands a split second more quickly. And there may be upside to all this offseason rehab and surgery for the Steelers quarterback.
All right, thanks, Doc. A lot of eyes on the incoming class of rookies as we pivot now. So let's predict which one is going to stand out from the rest and take home the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. It's one of the most popular prop bets on the board right now. Check it out, FanDuel Sportsbook app under Player Props. Number one overall pick, Joe Burrow, is the favorite. The Bengals quarterback plus 230. So, guys, get in here. Pony, give me your value pick. Is it on this board?
No, it's not. I'm going off of it. I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins, the Ravens rookie running back, a second-round pick. It's an embarrassment of riches at running back on paper, but Mark Ingram, 30 years old, already banged up in camp. They love to run the ball. It's a position to succeed for Dobbins, the Ohio State product. He has a real chance of being a breakout candidate in 2020.
I'm not going to go off the list. I'm going to go right towards the top of it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, pretty short price at plus 360, but I can't see him not having a monster year here with the loaded offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Really no pressure coming in. I think Joe Burrow, too much pressure as the Heisman winner to lead the Bengals this year. Give me the Chiefs running back rookie.
When you look at the history of this award, you don't have to be a number one overall draft pick. Don't even have to come out of the first round. You can go down the list. Look for an offense in the top half of EPA per play with good coaches, but with huge need at a skill position from a year ago. How about the Eagles needing a receiver to blow the top off of an opposing defense? Jalen Reagor at plus 2,000 fits that description.
All right, that's Offensive Rookie of the Year bets that you can place right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We will talk Defensive Rookies of the Year next week, but we're bringing in the guy that's going to move all these lines anyway once the season gets underway. Sheeran, what do you think of their picks?
I love Ed's pick. He nearly got it right in one goal, Lisa. He got the Eagles right and he got Jalen right. He just picked the wrong Jalen. Jalen Hurts is the real big mover for me. He's our biggest liability by some margin. He's 100-1, Lisa, as well. In a world where Carson Wentz can't be trusted to be healthy, I really like the angle that some of the sharp bettors have picked us off at 100-1. So that, for me, is the one to watch.
All right, Sheeran, any long shots getting action for this bet? What are you seeing?
Yeah, there's a really interesting one, Lisa, and it's Antonio Gibson. The Memphis grad in Washington was picked in the third round at running back, and I've seen an awful lot of interest in him in the last few days. We're currently down to 33-1, having been as big as 100-1. So he's caught a lot of people's imagination, has been doing good things in training camp as well. They've had injuries, and he may have to go behind Adrian Peterson, as we know. But I expect him to get some time on the ball based on what we've seen so far.
Okay, great stuff, Sheeran. Thank you. Now let's talk about how you can turn $4 into $1 million. That's right, $1 million. All you have to do is enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Winner gets $1 million. The entry fee is just $4. And in these contests, not only is it important to know who to start, it's important to know who not to start. JJ Zacharyson gives us 3 players to avoid in Week 1.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Austin Hooper, the new tight end in Cleveland. He's $5,700, and if you look at this Cleveland offense, there's a lot of question marks. We don't know exactly how Austin Hooper is going to be utilized in that offense. At the very least, he's going to be the number 3 target in that offense with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham as the 1-2. And then in Week 1, they're facing Baltimore in a game that Cleveland doesn't have a very high implied team total. So I don't really like Austin Hooper. I would be spending down on a guy like Hayden Hurst at $5,200, or maybe even Mike Gesicki at $5,400. I also don't really like Leonard Fournette at $6,900. Jacksonville reportedly was really trying to get rid of Fournette this offseason. And then in comes Jay Gruden, their new offensive coordinator. He brings a pass-catching specialist that he's utilized in the past in Chris Thompson. I don't know exactly what Leonard Fournette's usage is going to look like, especially when they hit negative game scripts, which could be pretty frequently, and it could be here in week 1 against Indianapolis as 7-point underdogs. So I don't really like Leonard Fournette because his usage might be a little bit unpredictable. And on top of that, he's $100 more than Miles Sanders, who I love, in week 1. And then the last guy to avoid, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a big name. Everyone loves him, but he hasn't been that good of a fantasy asset. Last season we only saw him with 5 top 10 performances. And then on top of that, he's facing a division rival in Minnesota here in week 1. So I don't really like Rodgers, given the fact that there's a lot of other quarterbacks you can choose from in his price range.
Great stuff, JJ. And you can check out JJ's podcast, the Late Round Podcast. It's available on the FanDuel Podcast Network. And, of course, use his information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million Contest on FanDuel.com. Looking for a DFS contest to quench your NBA thirst? Well, check out the Mountain Dew NBA free play at FanDuel.com/NBA. It's a daily contest that gives out a ton of awesome prizes every single night, with a first place getting a seat in a live virtual event with NBA legends Gary Payton and Ray Allen. And in addition to that, an entry into that contest automatically gets you into the King of the Mountain 3-point bonus, where you can compete for a share of $15,000. Got to get my guys back in here for this. Dave, Pony, and Ed, I absolutely love this. Not only are you competing in a daily NBA DFS contest for free, but you're also trying to set a lineup that scores the most three-pointers. So, guys, we know about the James Hardens and Damian Lillards of the world. Give me an under-the-radar three-point shooter that's going to get hot during these playoffs. Pony, let's go with you first.
I think Gary Payton and Ray Allen would like my pick because they played with this guy's dad, Tim Hardaway Jr. in Dallas. Doc Rivers, the Clippers coach, brilliant. And I think he knows they need to slow down Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis with a lot of double teams. The third option, Tim Hardaway Jr., will pick up the slack. A lot of open looks from deep, Lisa.
Yeah, you got to look at the teams that really give up a lot of three-point attempts, and that's the Houston Rockets. They're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. 22nd most threes taken against the Rockets this year. So I think Dennis Schroeder is a guy that can get hot here during these playoffs. A couple of years back for the Atlanta Hawks, he had a monster postseason, hitting about 3 three-pointers a game. He's usually priced between about $5,200 and $5,700 as a salary. So I think if it's a cheap guy that can get you to the King of the Mountain.
To win this contest, I want someone who's going to shoot a high rate of threes, has a good usage percentage, meaning he plays a lot of minutes, and of course he's cheap. And Miami's Duncan Robinson may fit this description. A 68.4 true shooting percentage, has a top 90 VORP in the NBA, and could be that role player to get the Heat out of a jam if Jimmy Butler has a bad game. Keep in mind that this Pacers-Heat series could go the distance, could be 5-6 games. So you need that spark plug, and Duncan Robinson might be the guy.
Great stuff, guys. What a fun contest. The Mountain Dew NBA free play is live right now, and it's free. Just head to FanDuel.com/NBA and enter every day through September 4th for your chance to win cash and prizes. That'll do it for us. Thanks for hanging with us here on FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win. We'll see you next week.